Welcome to my channel. My name is Spade Parkland. Welcome to Parkland Media. This video contains my fan theory for the show From on MGM+. This video contains spoilers. This video was not made from anything from MGM+ exclusive content. If the theory turns out to be true, I just got it right. Subscribe, click the notification bell, thumb up the video, share your social media. If you want to support me and support the channel, you can join the channel membership, and or you can also support with the super thanks that is near the subscribe button. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the comment section. Hey, what's going on? Welcome. If you are new here, please subscribe, click the notification bell, thumb up the video, share everywhere, including your YouTube community tab. Comment in the comment section after this is over with. I'll join you there. Thank you for subscribing. And also thank you for channel members for rocking with me and supporting. So yes, I'm going to lay out a theory where Kelly in season 2, which I believe was unalived by humans. And instead of calling them children, I'm going to call them teddy bears, where there are teddy bears currently being held and sacrificed right now. So again, welcome. If you're returning, welcome home. But before we get into that, we have to brag on some supporters. So I got some super thanks that I like to highlight and to brag about.
You're also keeping the lights on around me. What is up?
Yes, keeping the lights on. So first, Zephyr Cat, let me know in the comment section if I butchered your name. She sends a $5 super thanks. And U7763 sent a super thanks, $1.99. I appreciate it. And Amanda Kenny 4997 sent 2 super thanks, one for $5, one for $10, and she's a channel member. So she is the real MVP. Thank you for all of the super thanks. Thank you for everyone who has been supporting and contributing. I really appreciate it. Amanda, you are the real MVP. Yes, I appreciate the support. I appreciate it. All right. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for sponsoring this video.
And that's you.
All right, let's get down to business. So I'm going to be all over the place with this one because it involves season 2, season 1, and season 3 all together for this theory. So first, we're going to start with season 2, episode 3. That's Tether. Kenny, he's out there with Ellis, and they're using traps to try to catch small animals like rabbits, anything small. What Kenny is using is a heavy-duty rabbit cage to try to catch the rabbits. And so the name of this episode is called Tether, named after the Kelly situation, because tether is to tie with a rope or chain so as to restrict its movement, which is her being tethered to the tree. So in the previous screenshot, we saw that the cage, this heavy-duty cage, it was down and the rod was taken from it. So the only time that this trap would be sprung is if an animal were to go inside, take the bait that's inside, and when trying to come out would knock over the rod and trap itself into the cage. There's no bait inside that we can see. So this means that an animal would have gone inside, eaten the bait, and the animal should be in there, but there's no animal. These traps, there's like 2 of them that we see in the scene. The fact that these traps have been sprung, there's no bait and no animal, means that someone must have opened up the cage and gotten the animal, especially since we see the rod that's on the ground when Kenny gets it. Now, you could say, well, maybe the animal hit the rod and didn't get trapped in the cage, but then the bait would still be there. That would be luring the animal into the trap. There's no bait, and the rod is over there on the side. This next shot of Kenny with Ellis, Ellis is out there picking flowers for Fatima.
Simping activate.
Supposed to be getting animals for everybody to eat. Ellis is out there picking flowers. He's simping out. It's all good. Kenny remarks that the traps have been sprung. No bait, no animal. And for this trap, which is a wooden crate, there also is no bar that's holding up the crate. Fun fact, the bar that was used to hold up the traps, including the wooden crate and also the bar that's in Kelly's head, is a rusty steel bar that's used in construction. So we see Kenny, he's picking up the wooden crate. That was the other trap. No bait, no animal, and this time the bar is missing. They hear a cell phone alarm going off, and it belongs to Kelly. This is Kelly right here. Say hi, Kelly. No, Kelly can't say hi because she's unconscious, okay? She has a rusty steel bar in her head, and she's impaled into the tree. And this looks very familiar. So people have kind of speculated that this ghoulish child that appears in episode 10 of season 3 may belong to Tabitha and Jade. We don't know for sure, but I imagine that because she's the one that kneeled down and came forward, that she would be their child. That's just a guess. I know it's a stretch, it's a yoga stretch, but we're kind of assuming that's their child, and we're also assuming that maybe this child is the leader. So one thing that Kelly and this child have in common is they both have the injury to the right part of their brain. So Kelly wakes up. She says that the bar does not hurt. And she also recalls how her and Brian, the guy she came into town with on the bus, were approached by some people. Kelly didn't want to let them in. Brian let them in, and it turned out to be the creatures. So based on flashback, these are the creatures that came in. We know that this is the creature jock. I guess this is Hair Bob creature. I don't know. You all can let me know in the comment section who she is, but these are both creatures. So they come inside, and in the flashback, they stay in human form. And when Kelly tells Ellis about the fact that they dragged them outside and they made her watch while they did things to Brian, is normal as far as creature behavior. But one thing that she does not mention is them turning into creatures. She doesn't mention that, but she does mention that they went outside and they told her they wanted to play with her. So Kelly said all this to Ellis. And what is odd about this is that normally the creatures, when they want to do something to you and play, they normally take out your innards and you'll be missing your organs and there'll be blood everywhere. This is a rare time where we've seen someone, really this is the only time we've seen someone besides Randall, which is season 3, of actually someone surviving an encounter with the creatures. Now with Randall, his face was cut and he was put on the hospital truck. The creatures did cut him. They just didn't take his life because they wanted Boyd and the rest of the people in town to kind of know that they're not safe. This is a rare situation where someone has encountered the creatures and been impaled on a tree or really just been injured to where there's no blood anywhere. I think that the reason why Kelly was impaled and she was left to survive is because humans did this. So if you look at the positioning of the teddy bears on the slabs, it would make it easier to just kind of give them a head poke to complete the ritual to quote unquote sacrifice. But what I think happens is that whoever did the head poke, the people who do the head poke, they did the same thing with Kelly that they did with the ghoulish children, in that the same way Kelly survived, the ghoulish children more than likely survived. And that's the reason why Jade and Tabitha were saying that they were trying to save the children, because There was something in their head. They were wondering what to do to save the children. And the children eventually succumbed to their injuries the same way that Kelly would have had Boyd had have not come up and pulled the rod out of her head. So humans did this to the teddy bears. Creatures have a different way of playing or taking someone's life. There's going to be blood drawn. Another thing is that only humans would care about taking the animals from the traps. We saw from the previous screenshot that there was no animals, there was no bait. The trap had been sprung. Only humans would care about taking animals from that type of trap because they would eat them. Whereas the creatures, they more than likely drink blood and eat the organs of humans. Because if the creatures were to do that as far as eating animals, they would have eaten the animals that were livestock instead of using them to bait the humans into exiting their homes in season 3 and the beginning part of the season. If the creatures were to eat the animals, they would have, instead of using the livestock to bait the humans to exit their home, which was episode 1 of season 3, they would have just eaten the animals. And we've never seen the creatures do anything to the animals, which is why the animals have always been deemed as safe and no one's ever put a talisman stone in the barn. So far we have humans did this. Humans took the animals that were in the trap, and it's more than likely that humans also did this as well, and probably were going to the traps to get the animals that were caught. Kelly came out there and was like, please help me, I'm scared. The humans that are into the sacrifice business took one of the rebars, impaled her against the tree, and more than likely left her for the creatures. And last, we've never seen the creatures pick up anything, let alone use it as a weapon. They normally use their claws or their teeth on their victims. So it's possible it could be the man in the yellow suit that did this. It could be that. It could be that. I don't think the man in the yellow suit, I mean, he could be an angel. He could be higher dimensional being. He could be all those things. I just don't think that the man in the yellow suit would do something like this. I think he would do something equivalent to like he did with Jim in season 3, episode 10, where he ripped out Jim's throat. I think it would be the same way with Kelly. I don't think that she would survive an encounter with the man in the yellow suit. However, it's still possible. It's still possible. So another reason why I think that humans did this to Kelly is because the humans more than likely are still creating teddy bears or kidnapping teddy bears, have them in the cave, having them born in the dark, and they're probably still sacrificing teddy bears. And the reason why I say that is because Victor said in season 1, episode 4, A Rock and a Farway, that the Farway tree that he showed Ethan was new. So this is the new Farway tree that Victor had showed Ethan. And Victor also said that there are many Farway trees. I think the word many would more than likely be more than 3. We can kind of reasonably believe that based off of Tabitha being in the lighthouse, we see that one of the earliest numbers is 1506. Now I know that season 3, episode 10 showed that the numbers inside the bottles at the Farway tree were music notes. These also could be music notes. A lot of people are kind of leaning towards these being dates. To me, it would make more sense if these were dates. But let's just say, for the sake of this example, for this theory, these are dates. That would mean that this is the earliest time period when Tabitha and Jade more than likely became aware of who they come from and trying to save the children. So this show takes place in like 2022. Maybe it's kind of based off of real time, but season 1 would be 2022. And a tree normally would take maybe like 40 years to be full grown. So for this to be a new Farway tree, just to kind of guess, because we don't have any Farway trees in real life, let's just say it takes 20 to 40 years for it to be mature. For it to be a new tree, we'll just say that it took 30 years, or maybe like, I don't know, we'll just say that it took 40 years or less to mature. So for it to be new, it more than likely could not have been around when Victor came into Fromville 40 years ago. So when Victor was in Fromville and he was by himself at age 10, this Farway tree was not around. It's around now. He's in his 50s. So based off the logic that we heard from Victor mentioning the boy in white talking to Christopher, that the children poured their hope into the roots that created the symbol and created the Farway tree. So you could say, well, maybe the hope from a long time ago is making trees, and they're just making a bunch of trees now. I just don't think that they would continuously make trees from past hope, because these trees are in different locations. So I'm thinking that it's possible that the cave could have several chambers of children who are being sacrificed, and maybe the children are talking to other children and they're passing stories along to each other about someone coming to save them, and they're all giving each other hope. So maybe Julie story walked to the past, told the children about her mom and Jade. They're going to try to find a way to save them. That gave the children hope. They poured the hope into the roots. The roots made the Farway trees. However, the savior didn't come, but they were hoping it would come, equivalent to, let's just say, antebellum slavery in America. Really, it was worldwide. So different enslaved people would tell other enslaved people about how life used to be when they were free, and those who were born in captivity will tell other people about these stories, and the stories are kind of like campfire stories or word of mouth stories that they're passing on from person to person to person. And I think it's equivalent to how these teddy bears are, who are still alive, in that they're hoping that someone will come save them because they're currently alive and they're currently being sacrificed in making faraway trees even right now. And it would only be humans that would be currently sacrificing teddy bears, because we saw in season 1, episode 1 with the grandma creature, when she was brought into the home, when Megan opened the window up, the grandma creature sacrificed Megan, didn't try to kidnap her, sacrificed her. So the creatures are not in the business of keeping the children for a later date. Only humans who are trying to complete a ritual will be doing that. And so in this same episode, the same way that we see Christy somewhat wanting to save Kelly, trying to save Kelly, but can't, I think that's the same way that Jade and Tabitha, the people who they come from, were kind of faced with, in that during the ritual, something was put inside of the teddy bear's head. The teddy bear survived, and the original Jade and Tabitha were trying to quote unquote save them. But back then, modern medicine isn't like it is now. And even with the modern medicine, Christy told Ellis and Kenny that it would take like 14 hours in a hospital to remove this bar from Kelly and for her to survive. So in a place like Fromville, it ain't happening. And the people who Jade and Tabitha come from, they were put in the same situation, in that they couldn't save the children. They probably tried to bandage up the wound or pull the rod out and hope it saved them, but they tried to save them and they failed, equivalent to how Christy failed to save Kelly. And Kelly was okay. She said that the rod did not hurt. I'm pretty sure that the ghoulish children were the same way, saying that it doesn't hurt. They're fine. It's okay. Kelly only started screaming when Boyd came around the corner. And I think that Fromville, maybe the man in the yellow suit, something caused Kelly to have pain, because it wanted to make Boyd suffer even back then. So when Boyd came around the corner, that's when Kelly started screaming, and Boyd is the one that took the rod out. I wouldn't be surprised if, in addition to Tabitha and Jade coming from Fromville, maybe even Boyd comes from Fromville as well. So just to recap, someone is bringing the traps and taking the small animals. Kelly never said the people turned into creatures, so she wouldn't know the difference between bad humans and good humans to communicate that to Ellis. And then when Kelly was going to kind of give more information, Christy came around and the conversation changed. The ghoulish children have the same head injury in the same spot as Kelly. And the people who did that to the teddy bears were humans. The children probably survived being impaled during the ritual, just like Kelly. And Tabitha and Jade might have tried to save the children like Christy tried to save Kelly, but you can't really do anything about that. Victor saying that it was a new Farway tree suggests that the children are still being unalived, still pouring hope in the roots, and still creating Farway trees. Trees take 40 years to mature, and Victor said the tree was new. The earliest date of the lighthouse, 1506. Unless those are music notes, those are more than likely years, and for the tree to be new would mean that it would have had to have been made while Victor was in Fromville. I know some people are going to say, well, maybe the man in the yellow suit did this. Possibly. It's just that the way he did Jim, how he took out Jim's throat with his bare hands, I doubt that he would even need or want to use a rebar with doing his business. I think he would use his hands the same way. One last fun fact. So Kelly and Brian, two characters, came on the bus into Fromville. Later on, Boyd's going to say that he served with someone named Brian Kelly. I think what's going on is it's kind of the same way how Fromville brought in Marielle to be with Christy. Fromville may bring in people to kind of mess with somebody else, but I wouldn't be surprised if the whole Brian Kelly thing was equivalent to Marielle to Christy, in that the actress who played Christy wanted for Christy's character to be LGBTQ, so they created Marielle in order to do that. I think that someone wanted Boyd to have maybe a connection to being a military veteran and kind of had that Brian Kelly thing to have that connection for him to talk about that. What do you think? Let me know in the comment section your thoughts. Thumbs up the video, share to your social media, subscribe, click the notification bell. Thanks for watching. Go forth, do great things, and I'm out. Peace.
The future's not ours to see.